Hi everybody. It's often said by people and me that the VFR is a grower, a bit of a slow burner. What exactly do I mean by that, and how does it manifest itself? Let's have a look at it. So if you have a bike that's a grower, it could be a problem if you test ride it. I mentioned this on my first impressions video. If you go out on a bike for a test ride, and you might not be feeling your best that day, the weather might not be brilliant, and the bike's qualities might not come through on a shortish ride, which indeed on the VFR it didn't. It's one of those bikes that the qualities take time to come through. I'm going to mention a couple of bikes that did sort of like have an impression on me immediately. I remember the first time I rode a Fireblade. I knew they were quick because every report that I read about them said they were quick. And that comes over immediately as soon as you jump on the thing. Very responsive, very light throttle, 4 cylinders always feel quick even if they're not that quick. And it was an instant hit. The Honda Blackbird was, because of its smooth turbine, like smoothly creamy drive. That was a hit straight away. But the qualities that the VFR has, it's always apparent immediately. That V4 engine, because it's got so much mid-range, and because it feels relaxed, you don't get the instant hit with it. And it may be a while before you realise just how rapid it is. Depends on the traffic you're in the early days. Depends who you're riding with, how quick they are. But it must have taken me a few months, a bit like my Firestorm. Firestorm was the same. It must have taken me a couple of months to really realise how quick this was. And the realisation was that things are quite effortless. You were overtaking things very, very quickly, and afterwards you think that was easy. No drama, you know, that drone and the growl of the engine, not a high-pitched yowl like a 4-cylinder. So things like that, they sort of grow on you with time. I did the braking video as well, didn't I? When I was really impressed with the brakes. That must have been sort of like a year or so into the ownership, and that's simply because I try not to brake hard. I mean, who wants to brake too hard? It would suggest your riding's not very smooth. I'm happy to brake hard. I have no issue with it. But normal riding, I suppose I'm braking firmly, so I had no reason to believe the brakes were good, bad, or indifferent. But that one time when I really had to brake hard and traffic had stopped in front of me, then I realised how powerful these brakes are. So it's little things like that that can take a bit of time. I see VFRs sometimes are owned for a long time and have a lot of miles. Sometimes they're owned for a short time with little mileage. And I'm just wondering if the owners just never had time to get the best out of them. Another thing you find just by living with the VFR, things like chef drive help of course, but just living with it, coming back after the ride, giving it a clean up, it always comes up really nicely. It has a sort of always has a composed feel to it, this bike. All the switches and that work really nicely, and they all add to the sort of the ownership pleasure of it. I jump on some lovely bikes, and I just find little things like, I don't know, the odd rattly or the odd flimsy switch, and it's not a great deal. It's not something that would bother you immediately, but as you live with the bike, it's sort of like those things get to you, or they grow on you, you know, the way things on the VFR does. The handling of the bike, again, if you don't push it, you won't think too much of it, but as time goes on, quite surprised, you know, with the sheer weight and mass of the thing, how well it does handle, and people have improved it as well, and that takes time to sort of like to get to know it. So I think if you test rode it at a time when, I don't know, the weather wasn't too good, the traffic wasn't favourable, or you weren't feeling your best, or you're expecting something different from it, you know, perhaps you had sort of test driven, I don't know, I'm going to say Hayabusa since it has, because of the speed thing. Perhaps you had jumped off one of them onto the VFR. Perhaps you wouldn't be impressed because of that speed, that inline 4 thing. But if you compare it with another sports tourer, and there isn't many, is there, with a shaft that are as sporty as the VFR, you know, these ZX Ninja, and the new Suzuki. They're not really in the same ballpark because the shaft drive and the sheer size of it really. So I don't know. It's a difficult one to actually pin down what exactly makes a bike grow on you over the years. Let me give you one of my anecdotes to sort of explain it a bit easier. I remember when my mate bought his Yamaha Tracer. Naturally said, "Do you want to have a go on it?" You know, I was, yeah, definitely. Well, I jumped on it, and immediately that 3-cylinder engine, really perky, lively thing, really impressed me. So did the turning really quick. Didn't actually ride like it looked, you know, it actually rode very sporty. And I was impressed immediately. And I had another couple of goes on it after that, and it still impressed me. And then there was one evening, we come back from Whitby. Now you'll hear me mention Whitby quite a lot. I don't know why. It's because we tend to go late on, we come back late. The ride is a blustery ride back, usually. Up on the moors there, it's quite high up. It's quite blustery, you're in the elements. And we swapped again. All of a sudden that perky engine, just against the headwind, just starting to feel, no, it's not feel good, just seemed a bit lacking there. The protection on the bike wasn't brilliant, and all of a sudden, you know, it had a different feel to it. Whereas when I jumped back on the VFR, fantastic, you know, it was just back to that composure that I mentioned, that sort of unstoppability type of thing that it sort of gives you. So, you know, that's a prime example where instantly, first impressions, fantastic. Then second or third, fourth ride, yeah, I don't know. And it's often the opposite with the VFR. First ride, maybe, yeah, what's all the fuss about? But then you live with it and you find that, yeah, qualities are deeper and they sort of like evolve with your riding and your ownership, and you start to appreciate what a good all-round machine this really is. And I remember road testers saying something like, it doesn't shine in any one area. I think it does, refinement, it certainly does. It doesn't shine in one area, but it's quite good at everything. And often that's seen as a bit of a negative. There's nothing worse than a one-trick pony. How many times do you read or see a review and it says something like, on the right day at the right time, this particular bike is fantastic. That might be one day in a year, you know, what good is that? But something that's always good at stuff, they're the ones that you enjoy living with. I have a mate who's not a tradesman, he doesn't have a trade. I tell you what, whatever he puts his hand to is brilliant. And he's far more useful as a practical mate than somebody who's brilliant at one particular thing. So yeah, VFR, I suppose, is a very good mate. So as I say, the test ride might not blow you away if you take it out on one, but living with it, yeah, it's a brilliant, and qualities run deep with it. I'll catch you next time. Bye.